I forgot my green shirt. I was going to wear my green.
Oh, I should put black on then.
Yeah, we can do it next time.
We are a house divided.
I'm not.
No, yeah.
I'm not really Hightower. I'm just more of a... I'm more playful about it. I like villains.
Okay.
And I like Allison.
I am an Alicent apologist.
I'm an Alicent sympathizer.
Sure, sympathizer's better. But apologist is not a sympathizer.
I'm a
for
sympathizer.
Sure.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 1.
A Son for a Son.
If you are old friends of ours, welcome back. Thank you. We love you, and I hope you have fun watching us. And if you are new, this is a show where we just watched a show, and we are two people who talk about the thing that we just watched. So these are our thoughts and our opinions. They are in no way informed or concrete or intelligent or any
okay, all right, you're doing too much. I'm intelligent.
We're just talking about the thing we watched.
And again, to steal from I always forget who it was. We don't mean anything to you. So
well, I just want to get that because I realize that like things like recap are in the title, and it's a recap.
Chat show.
It's more of an after show, but. Okay, where are you? Did you enjoy this?
I liked it, yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
Okay, I'm having similar issues that I did in season 1, which is to be expected, since, as we discussed, all of us together out there, Sir Kristen Cole is still around and has a really big part in this show.
He's, like, really on the show in a way that...
He's really on the show in a way that I just, like, can't really get behind. No tea, no shade to the actor. He's doing everything right.
He's the best part, as long as I can look at him, although it appears from the...
the haircut.
From the preview of episodes to come, there is a George Clooney-esque ER haircut coming our way.
He wishes.
That man is gorgeous. I'm sorry. Fabian?
Okay, yes, he's gorgeous. He wishes it looked like George Clooney's Caesar from ER.
I said esque. And also for context, you have a slight love-hate relationship with the Game of Thrones lore. You think they do too much sometimes.
Yeah, I think they do too much. I mean...
That will be an aspect of this conversation.
Yeah, so I mean, like, if anybody's been here since we were a podcast, we covered the final couple, I think, of Game of Thrones. And I'm not going to rehash all of that.
No.
We don't need to relitigate that nightmare. But we were both pretty disappointed with the ending. And so it's like, in that sense, I found both season 1 and this episode pretty refreshing because they haven't been, aside from the childbirth aspects of it, there's not been a great deal of violence against women, which was one of my biggest issues with Game of Thrones. But I do also think they're kind of saying something with the childbirth stuff, so it, like, allows me to put a distance between it. Yeah, so, like, basically my biggest issue is that, like, there's no cell phones. So, like, nobody knows what anybody actually said, unless they said it right to their face.
And even then.
No, that's obviously tongue-in-cheek. I know cell phones don't go here. But it is just sort of frustrating that, like, everybody's misinterpreting everything. And, like, nothing is being done to the specifications given. So, but I mean, that's obviously, like, how you get,
I've heard that's a big part from like proper reviews. Like I think the Washington Post said that there is a lot of mistakes and misunderstandings this season.
Yeah.
And so buckle up. It seems to be part of the course. I enjoy it. Kind of what I was getting at is we think sometimes the Game of Thrones property IP leans into some of the sensationalist, violent sex stuff when it's not always necessary.
And I would say I feel like House of the Dragon is a lot more tempered than the later seasons of Game of Thrones. So in that sense, I am actually having none of those issues.
But I agree. I kind of enjoyed it. And actually, in doing a little bit of prep for this, I watched some stuff about... you rewatched the first season.
I did,
I didn't get a chance
I finished it this morning.
But I kind of had forgotten how good the first season is. And if we're not going to go that far, I would say how entertaining it was. Like, at there was a lot of things I was like, oh yeah, it covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, so that was, I remember from when we covered season 1 that one of my biggest problems with it is that it felt like it was going too fast. Like, I think season 1 could easily have sustained 2, if not 2.5 seasons of TV. And one of the most common comments that we got on our videos was, well, this is just how it is in the book. And I was like, no, I get that, but like there's still room in that to breathe. It was like every episode we were passing 5+ years. And I was like, that's kind of a lot. So again, I don't super mind that, and I do also kind of think it's gonna slow down. But one of the things I found when I rewatched it is that I didn't mind that as much, and I think it's because I knew already that that's how it was gonna be. That it was gonna just like zip through time.
And this episode felt much more measured,
contained, in its time period.
Its timeline.
I guess we'll see next week, seeing how far we are into the war with next week's episode. But
okay, I'm trying my best because there's a lot of names and there's so many vowels, and there's people with the same names and the same people play people with different names.
As it stands right now, there is only one Aegon who matters.
So Aegon is the current king.
Yes.
And his brother is Aemon.
Yeah.
And Aemon is pretty awful, but he's gorgeous.
He's so hot.
Think he's so hot.
So hot.
His face looks like when
so
they were
face.
designing it, they copied and pasted it a handful of times. You know
like
what I mean?
It's like a game of telephone on his face.
But it's so good. And then he has that like eye.
Oh man.
And then they did him a favor, because it's actually like now he gets to wear an eye patch, and when he doesn't have it, it's like
a sapphire.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Look, all I'm saying is that he really I mean, it was the dragon who wouldn't listen to him, but he punished too hard, because honestly, you're slaying with that eye, and and you really went too far with looking for vengeance.
He was not bothered at all in this episode, and I was a little bit wondering if he was going to be, because as it happened, as his dragon killed.
He did look like he I think it was maybe not.
He was very much like, no, don't.
I think it was not really out of like remorse, but more like, oh no, the war.
Well, he's leaning into that part.
He's leaning into it now.
And he's getting counsel from Sir Kristen. Ugh. So, the
last person that you want.
His brother, Aegon, the king, also seems terrible, and they threatened us with shades of Joffrey.
Yeah.
But they didn't actually do it. And then they did give us a scene of him trying to govern.
Yeah.
He wasn't good at it.
No.
But he
wasn't totally bad at it either. Okay, so his deal is first of all, he gets announced as Aegon the Magnanimous, which I think is self-styled. So that's what he wants to be. So when the one guy is like, my sheep, and he's like, we'll give him back his sheep. And Otto has to be like, no, man, like, we need the sheep for the dragons.
For the warrior brothers
the war, and like, all of this, XYZ. And he's like, oh, okay, well, no. But then when the blacksmiths are like, we're struggling for money because all of these things take a lot of money and time, can we get paid up front?
To which he basically just says, you'll get paid.
No, but I mean, but Otto still was trying to be like, no, and he was like, we need your weapons.
Well, sure.
So, like, you will get paid. So, I agree where it's like, you had that, like you said, Joffrey-esque thing where he was trying to make the Lannister on the Master of Coin give his son no, it's
the same actor.
It's the same actor, regardless. Thailand.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, he was trying to make him give his son a piggyback ride, basically. And I'm just like, that's sort of humiliating, but not as bad as Joffrey would go.
Was that the son that they killed?
I think so.
I mean, children don't deserve to have their heads cut off, but it kind of...
Well, it just was not the brief. The brief was Aemond Targaryen's head. And this is like not at all.
We'll get to that, but no, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. For a show like this, again, I stated at the beginning, I kind of like villains, and I like heroes. I like interesting characters. Yeah. That's more so the thing. I like characters that kind of make you think and kind of make. I mean, I don't think a character has to be relatable for me to like them, but I appreciated that, and I hope that they continue that, and that they don't just fall into these like
archetypes,
which it can be tempting for a show like this because it can be unwieldy and sprawling, and sometimes archetypes help you
Yeah, for sure.
keep track of what's going on. But I also like, is it Helena?
Helena, yeah.
I like her in theory. I don't think we've done enough with her.
Well, so
and that carried over into this episode.
She had basically 2 prophecies in the first season. The first was that when Aemond didn't have a dragon, Alicent was like, "You'll get a dragon," and little girl Helena was like, "He'll have to lose, or he'll have to close an eye," is what she said. And then later she said the beast beneath the boards a bunch, and then that was when Rhaenys came up with the dragon. So she had 2. She also like gets weird feelings and stuff, and I find her interesting. I agree. I don't think they've done quite enough with her yet. I'd love to see more, and I'm trying to decide if this is sort of like if she's going to like go full crazy after they murdered her son, or if it's gonna like unlock something else.
I don't know how I feel about it. I do like that her prophecy in this episode was very Cassandra-esque, where it was both, where there was a literal rat problem, there was a spy problem, and that also they were intertwined. I really appreciate that, and in a way that, at least for me watching it, wasn't obvious. Like, I wasn't like, I know exactly where this is going.
I mean, I don't know. The minute she was like the rats, I was like,
well, of course, I mean, I knew that was a prophecy, but I wasn't like, I bet you at the end of this episode, they're going to cut off the head of one of her kids.
No, surely not that, yeah.
I guess we've gotten there, so that's the event from this episode for me, because it was a lot. Daemon is trying to avenge his wife and child, and, well, it's her child. Which one? Regardless.
Yeah.
He's trying to avenge his family.
Yeah.
And so he goes...
like, for her.
Yeah. He goes to...
like a member of the Kingsguard, who basically is still loyal to him, and then he gets him to take him to the rat man, or whatever, and is like, go kill Aemond Targaryen, you'll know him by his long blonde hair and sapphire eye, and bring me his head and you'll get the rest of your money.
And so somehow what they got from that, and so then he
was just a son for a son.
Yeah, was that they needed to kill a boy with blonde hair. But they knew it was royal, though.
They knew he was royal, because they were on the royal like level.
I think they made they made an executive decision.
They pivoted in the moment.
Yeah, and thought, you know what, it's good enough. Job well done. And that scene was interesting and well filmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Helena was weird. I guess I don't know how I feel about it, because part of me is like, everything that we hear about mothers, I found it kind of odd that she was just sort of like, that's the boy, and then it's just like, eh. But also, I mean, relatable. I would probably just shut down in a situation like that.
So, a couple things I feel like. Number one, she hates Aegon.
Okay.
Also, those kids might not be his to begin with, because there was some talk in season 1 that she's having an affair with Aemond.
Oh, so I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like, it's very loosely pointed at in the show, but like people who have read the book were like telling us. So I'm not really sure one way or the other. And also kind of like, when you're at that point, what do you do? Do you try to, it's like Sophie's Choice. Do you try to save one?
There was just
or do you all get killed?
Yeah, I mean, there was just a point where they both turned their back to her, and there was like a fireplace. I don't know. Yeah. I kind of expected more of a Medea moment.
Sure.
And she just sort of took the girl and went to Alicent's room, where she still does nothing but bang him.
Okay.
Which, again, it's all he's good for.
Okay, but like, only now. She was not banging him in season 1.
Was she not? I don't
She was absolutely not. He banged Rhaenyra, and then she was like...
yeah.
She was like, no more, and he was like, you've sullied me. And then he was just like a total cock the whole rest of the time. But, so that started since Viserys died, and so in my mind, I'm like, were you just trying not to be unfaithful while your husband was alive? So you didn't do anything before? Or were you still jumping on that rotted dick and you just like need sex every day now? Like, I don't know. I'm very, what's happening?
Well, I feel like we'll get it.
Ugh.
I feel like we'll get more scenes. But yeah.
Also, like, it felt very out of character that he was going down on her. It just doesn't feel like something he would do.
I mean, I agree. But I also don't feel like I want to expound upon
No, it's
that.
fine. That's all I'll say. That's enough.
Yeah, and so Helena told her, and that's where the episode ended.
Yeah.
And so it's the kind of thing where it just like it was very shocking, and also one of them kicked the dog, and that was like
Yeah,
upsetting.
not
So like it ended on a very kind of like I don't care for that note, and so it's weird to then come in and be like I liked it.
Yeah, sure.
They kicked the dog and cut a kid's head off. But I mean, I do know that that's how history
Yeah.
and also things work. So Rhaenyra was out processing.
Well, she was also searching for Luke's body,
Mhm.
basically, and she did end up finding, or like some sailors found, or fishermen found some part of the wing of the dragon, and like Luke's cloak was like wrapped up in it. So she finally got like closure, basically, which is how the episode starts.
Well, it started with her other
Daemon
son.
and Rhaenys.
No, the other son.
Oh yeah, at the wall. Jacaerys.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was at
Winterfell.
the wall and secured their kind of
The
allegiance,
Starks.
and then it ended with him coming home to, or not ended. I guess it was somewhere in the middle.
It ended with the raven that
Mhm.
came that basically said that Luke died.
But I really liked the scene where he came home and was doing his duty
Update, yeah.
with his mother,
Debrief.
and then they like
Yeah.
broke down. I appreciated that a lot.
Emma Darcy. I love Emma Darcy. That's all. For now.
They're very compelling.
Yeah.
Very interesting and very compelling.
Like a lot of good face and like really understated. Here's the thing too, is I think because at the end of season 1, when you get that moment when Daemon tells Rhaenyra about Luke, it was Matt Smith's idea for them to be facing away from the camera. And so I think I liked Emma Darcy before this, but I think they're getting tips from Matt Smith, who is also very good. And I think it's helping. And the fact that they are scene partners together more often than not is just like thumbs up.
Well, Rhaenyra can be one of those characters because Rhaenyra is so, she's very modern. We're rooting for her. She's a little bit Arya coded in a way that most people loved Arya, and Arya is a great character, but we at times found her a little bit boring, and I think Emma brings.
Don't say that again.
But I think Emma brings something to Rhaenyra that keeps Rhaenyra.
Mm-hmm. Well, Rhaenyra is not fighting against her femininity, and Arya was quite often fighting against that in a way that like made sense for that character in that story.
Also, Rhaenyra is at this point a woman,
but and Rhaenyra was raised a princess,
yeah,
not just like a second daughter of a. And
I guess it's plausible that Arya could get to a point like this.
Sure.
That story was the story was more linear.
Yeah.
But Otto Hightower, I hate him. I just still hate him.
Yeah.
And
he's okay. Here's the thing too, is like there was this glimpse of his face from a future episode in the like coming up on whatever. And it was just a very like rolling his eyes kind of thing. And I made a joke out there and I was like, oh no, have your own chickens come to roost? And I just feel like he's gonna get to a point where he's like, I definitely made all of this happen for the last 20 years. And I'm just gonna be like, yeah, man. This is your own making for sure.
We did get Massaria, Sonoya Mizuno, Massaria back. I remember her from the first season. She was with Daemon. She was like a madam, she was with Daemon at one point. She was like his queen.
Yeah, but he was straight up lying about her having been pregnant and stuff. Oh. And she was like, as if I would allow myself to be pregnant, please. And then she was a madam in King's Landing. And yeah, I'm like a little surprised she's back, to be honest, but I guess she was like,
I mean, I like
fleeing.
I like her as a concept. Like I like her character as a concept, but I'm a little bit sort of, what are we gonna do? And she's the one who put it into motion, the Daemon going to do all of that.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, I don't know if we'll see her again. We still have the Erics.
Yeah.
Are they
They
separate?
are split up now, yeah. One of them is with the Hightowers and one of them is,
Because they briefly mentioned that. I just didn't fully remember.
Yeah, why. I'm not sure exactly why. It was just sort of like they were having a funeral for, I think, the baby that Rhaenyra lost. And Eric, I guess with an E, arrived and was like, I pledge my fealty to the queen or whatever. So I'm not exactly sure like how and why that separation happened, or if like the other Eric is also if he's like a secret agent, kind of. I'm not sure. Mostly it's like a lot of eh, just sort of like maneuvering on maps right now. By the way, Rhaenyra's map is better.
It's so I love models.
Like way better.
We're building the Lego Barad-dûr.
Oh yeah.
Be on the lookout for that. We're gonna have a live.
We're gonna do some lives, in a couple weeks
where we work on that. But we're getting it started, and when they cut to the map, I was like, because I could see like the castle in the back, and I was like, oh, I want to play with it, and all the like candlelight. So I do like the production is exquisite.
Yeah.
I love the castles. I love the corridors.
I was gonna say, I said it out there too. I do think that the ice at the wall when they're like walking looked a little more foamy than it did. And I feel like Lord Corliss's wig was not as good, but I didn't have any real problems with the rest of them. But his seemed different than season 1.
It was more pulled back.
Yeah. Maybe because he's been like convalescing. Maybe
he had that scene. What was his scene with Father
with
from
guy? Yeah.
Raised by Wolves.
Basically, that was his ship that kind of like went down, and where he got injured. They weren't sure if he was going to live or not. And I guess that guy pulled him out of the water. Called him like Alan or something. And he also, the smith came by with a sword that he had made for Luke. Because he was going to take over as Lord of the Driftmark, but he's dead now. So that was mostly it. But he basically was like, I owe you a debt because you pulled me out of the ocean.
We did also check in with Rhaenys and Larys Strong. There was a funeral.
Larys Strong, him too. Him and Kristen Cole. Just the fucking creep convention.
The 3 of them.
Ugh. Who's the third?
Alicent.
Oh, well. Because she's out there just showing her tootsies off to Larys. Letting him just jerk off on the next couch.
Only fans. We do not question. We do not judge.
Okay, no kink shaming, but like I'm not shaming Alicent for like doing it. I'm shaming him for being a creep about it.
Yeah. I don't know.
You can have a foot kink without being a creep about it.
Sure.
He's just like, he also killed all of the like original spies that they were like going around. And so Alicent had all new handmaidens, and she like made them go away, and then she scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed, and there was more blood.
Well, and the one that looked like Emma Stone from Poor Things, we noticed her like twice, and so my guess is she'll have a
saw
scene.
the rat catchers as well.
She'll have a scene in the next episode.
Yeah.
So.
You know what, too? Graham McTavish is credited, and he was nowhere to be found. They woefully underused him in season 1. I really hope they don't do it again. He's like, he basically left the Kingsguard when they were doing like the coup, and he went to Rhaenyra. So he should be with her, but not yet.
Yeah, I mean that's the stuff that I had thoughts and opinions on.
Yeah.
Again,
oh no, they are actual twins, Luke and Elliot.
Yeah, I saw that. So yeah, that's the stuff that I had thoughts on. Again, I do enjoy it, and I don't mind, as we do frequently say around here, I don't mind a slow burn. I don't mind as long as it's going somewhere. And
this is only 8 episodes this season as opposed to 10, which season 1 was. So we'll see. And it looks like it has already been greenlit for a season 3. So
get on it.
Start now. Yeah.
Christ.
Unbelievable.
I can't do this. I can't keep it up for years in between seasons.
Can't keep caring. You want me to care about this in 2026? Who knows if we'll even be alive then?
So overall, good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I don't know that I thought it was great, but it was a good start.
Serviceable premiere.
Yeah. And we'll check back in next week with more of our thoughts and opinions.
Bye.